Here is a more cinematic YouTube narration script, with long paragraphs and a powerful opening designed to capture attention and evoke pride around the achievement of the Apollo 11 moon landing. On July 20, 1969, the world witnessed something that had never happened before in the entire history of humanity. In living rooms, bars, military bases, and city squares across the planet, hundreds of millions of people stared at flickering television screens, barely believing what they were seeing. At that moment, nearly 240,000 miles away from Earth, an American spacecraft was descending toward the surface of the moon. For thousands of years, humans had looked up at that distant glowing sphere in the night sky, writing myths and legends about it. But now, for the first time, a nation had the power, the technology, and the courage to send human beings there. And that nation was the United States. The mission that would make history began just 4 days earlier, when the most powerful rocket ever built roared to life on the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The massive Saturn V rocket shook the ground as its engines ignited, producing more power than any machine humanity had ever created. Sitting at the top of that rocket were 3 American astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. Their mission was part of an ambitious national goal announced years earlier by President John F. Kennedy, who had challenged the country to land a man on the moon before the decade was over. At the time, many scientists believed such a goal was nearly impossible. Spaceflight itself was still new, rockets were unreliable, and no human had ever traveled so far from Earth. Yet the United States, through the work of thousands of engineers and scientists at NASA, was determined to prove that it could be done. For 3 days, the astronauts traveled through the silent darkness of space toward the moon. Their spacecraft was a remarkable piece of engineering.